Science.
Tradoon. Tradoon.
Girder. Ontogeny. Ontogeny.
Tradoon.
Ontogeny.
Tradoon. Tradoon.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
Oh, what does this shiny button do? I wonder. Palea salute.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
research is required. It's why paleontology is such an exciting science. It's like we're always learning new things all the time. To mount the skeleton. Really, really cool. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. Happy Monday to you, or whatever day it happens to be, whatever time it happens to be, wherever you are right now. I'm glad you're here. Whether you're watching live, and hello all of you wonderful live chatters. How are things going? Hope you had a great weekend. Or if anybody's watching in the future, either in the VOD or on YouTube, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. We're gonna have a fun, loosey-goosey kind of stream today, so I hope you're ready for that. I am still in the process of moving right now. You see I've got some moving boxes back there behind the allosaur skull. I'm gonna be taking Thursday and Friday off this week in order to move all of these books and bookcases and the rest of my streaming setup to my new place. And with any luck, I'll be streaming again next Monday, a week from today. Anyway, so there's a lot on my plate right now. But I'm missing as few days as possible of streaming, so this is important to me, you know? And I'm glad you're here for it. If anybody's here for the very, very first time, then an extra special welcome to you. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. You probably know already, you're clever, that a paleontologist is a fossil scientist. I work on dinosaur fossils.
Likely that we're here today because, by the luck of the draw, dinosaurs who had been dominant over mammals in ordinary times got
true. We'll be
felled
talking about that.
in a mass extinction.
Ghostly Ghoul.
Dan, the science man. If he can't explain it, someone else in another field of research can.
Ding, 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 Ghostly Ghoul. Yeah, hopefully. As a specialist, you know, on dinosaurs within paleontology, there are some paleontological questions that I'm not particularly well equipped to answer. I do my best, but if we're talking other fields of science, you know, I'll do what I can, but the more we learn about the natural world, the more questions we have. That's how science works. So you're absolutely right about that, Ghostly Ghoul. Thank you for keeping me on the air for the past 11 months, by the way, Ghostly Ghoul. These broadcasts would not be possible without generous supporters like yourself, Ghostly, so thank you. I appreciate you. It has been said before that, I guess, I am the world's first full-time live streaming paleontologist. I don't know if any other fossil scientist has ever been able to make a living through doing live streams, but that's what I do. I'm certainly not wealthy. It's one of the reasons I'm moving. But, I put food on the table, or rather, you put food on my table with support of this channel. This is how I make my living. As a dinosaur paleontologist, I study dinosaurs, I publish on them in the scientific literature, and I dig up dinosaurs. This summer, I was doing fieldwork in western Wyoming and eastern Utah, digging up at least 3 new species of Cretaceous dinosaur. And if you want to see how that went, well, shoot, check out the recordings on YouTube, because I was live streaming almost every day in the field. Almost every day. It was a ton of fun being able to broadcast dinosaur digs live to a Twitch audience, and we honestly got a huge turnout for that. Those are the biggest streams I've ever had, which makes me really happy. People are interested in this kind of thing. This is why I'm doing this, you know? Answering your questions, trying to be a resource to anybody who has any questions about the history of life on Earth, about the fossil record, about how things evolve and change and go extinct. How we came to be here as human beings, and likewise all the other critters around us, too. And by critters, I mean organisms in general, not just animals, but plants and fungi and protists and everything else. all interconnected in this big tree of life. That's what paleontologizing is all about, is like kind of celebrating the fact that we can know anything at all about the ancient past, and how cool it is to know that, and how valuable that is, how relevant it is to your everyday life, even if you don't even realize it. That's what we talk about here. So anyway, let me be responsive to chat for once. This is a live broadcast after all, and shoot, I've already lost the top of chat. But let's say hello to those who are here. I've already lost the top of chat, but there I see Golganek. I see Claire Burr. Golganek and Claire Burr, how are you both doing? I hope you had a wonderful weekends, both of you. I hope you each had a wonderful weekend. I hope you had multiple wonderful weekends. It's Friday. I appreciate you. It's good to have you here. Golganek and Claire, thank you for everything you do. Danish Viking, how are you doing, Danish Viking? Welcome, welcome. The Raven, hello, hello. I gotta pick up the pace here. Beamington, how are you doing? Welcome back to Paleontologizing, Beamington. Brannington, all these fancy names. Beamington and Brannington. Brannington the Third. I appreciate your 10 months of support there, Brannington. With those primes, that means a lot to me. It does, thank you. We've got Special Agent Fox Mulder, FBI. How are you doing? Mulder, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. Viper Dogfish, what's shaking with you? We've got Tim BTF. Howdy, howdy, Tim. Who else have we got? Alexander Morrison, welcome back. Good to see you. I hope your weekend was a good one. Now the hominids are getting up. Yep, there goes the neighborhood, Alexander Morrison. We are such a nuisance, aren't we? Saggy Iguana, howdy, howdy. Otter Do It. Otter, is that your first time ever seeing that cold open video? Because, oddly enough, that was the first cold open video that I ever did, I think. That was my earliest one. I just don't play it all that often anymore. It needs a little work. But yeah. Let's see here. Oh, but Otter, I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Magisterix is back. Welcome, welcome, Magisterix. How are you doing? I'm glad you've returned. I hope things are good. Ghostly Ghoul, I already said hello to you, but hello again, Ghostly Ghoul. Welcome. Welcome. Araya Thallium, how are you doing, Araya? Araya says, hi, Dano. Hi, Arayo. Welcome. Glad you could make it today. Hugin, how are things in your part of the world, Hugin? And likewise to Tommy Ploticus. What's shaking with you, Tommy? It's good to have you here. Alright, scrolling down. Almost to the bottom now. Kodali. Kodali, you were probably first. Like you often are here in chat. Way up at the top. But those messages got cut off. It's good to have you here, Kodali. Welcome, welcome. Rylsey says evening. Evening to you too, Rylsey. I'm glad you could be here. And, Alexander Morrison says the last 12 to 15 million years of animal diversity and the extinction of those species left me slightly demoralized. You and me both, Alexander Morrison. Especially recently. Milicio Total. Bienvenidos. Y hola a ti también. It's good to have you here. And yeah, there we go. Well, I've successfully made it down to the bottom of chat, it appears. People are offering me different greetings for different times of the day. Let's see what the view is right now. Where I am in the San Francisco Bay Area. It was really foggy this morning. Just beautifully foggy. Really, really made me smile. And that fog has started to burn off. We're getting, you know, another beautiful sunny afternoon. What else is new? Here in the gorgeous San Francisco Bay Area. You can actually see this view with the bridge on a clearer day in this view right here. You can just barely see the South Tower and the North Tower of the Golden Gate Bridge there. But yeah, this is a view from the Lawrence Hall of Science up in the Berkeley Hills. Anyway, likewise here in Florida for the morning hours. Nice, Alexander, nice. Yeah, I really like fog. Fog is one of my favorite kinds of weather. It just feels so, like, cozy. I don't know. Something about it. I like it a lot. Yeah. Diluta says, kind of dark over here, half past midnight in Finland. Unless you've got some crazy auroras going on, then it probably is pretty dark, huh? Well, I hope you're enjoying the darkness. I hope it's a peaceful darkness there, Diluta. And I'm glad you're here at half past midnight. Holy cow. Appreciate you, Diluta. Yeah. Cozy and mysterious. I agree, Saggy Iguana. Mystic, even. This Andit undid. Undid, that's a fine characterization. Saggy Iguana says, this stream is cozy. I appreciate you saying that, Saggy Iguana. I hope it's cozy in a good way, you know? Yeah. Steely Dan says, I also like to take it easy on a slow ride. Is that a fog hat reference there, Steely Dan? I almost didn't get that. That was about to sail over my head, and it just grazed, you know, maybe the part of my head above, like, my parietal bones. You know? Yeah. Rilesy says, is it possibly to be cozy in a bad way? I suppose cozy is generally an adjective that's got positive connotations to it. Can things be... What do you think, chat? Can things be cozy in a bad way? They could be cozy to the point where they're cramped, maybe. But then maybe they cease to be cozy. Maybe cozy is inherently a good thing. Yeah, Clipper says not really. Yeah, I think I agree. And the Bay Area has a hat made of fog. It sometimes does, Steely Dan. I like that a lot. Yeah. Coffins are cozy, says Justerix. Well, that's a glass half full kind of statement there, and I appreciate you for it. Yeah. Anyway, should I show you what's going on the 3D printer right now? Well, first of all, let me show you what I printed earlier. On Friday, we were talking about those 4 new dinosaurs that were featured in the Jurassic World Evolution 2 Theropod Boogaloo downloadable pack, or whatever it's called. I'm not a video game guy. But what were they? They were Concavenator, Gigantoraptor, Tarbosaurus, and Utahraptor. And I was talking about how I should have printed a Utahraptor claw for that stream. Well, here it is. Right there. A claw of Utahraptor. This is actually the holotype claw of Utahraptor. I've not painted it yet, obviously. But this is printed life-size. This is just the bony claw, the ungule right there. Yeah. And it's, I was able to scan this using my phone over the summer. And then 3D printed it. So this would be the sickle claw on digit 2 of the foot of Utahraptor Ostrom Masorum. There we go. That's a good Utahraptor there. Beautiful. So in life, this claw would have been covered by a keratin sheath, just like bird claws are today. So the claw would have been significantly longer in life and significantly sharper. And it was indeed a killer dinosaur there, Bago Fish. That's a fortuitous confluence of alerts there, Bago Fish. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. So yeah, and Miss Yvette, how are you doing? Welcome. And the Pess, yes indeed, Brandington. Yeah. So, pretty cool. I've never had a bit of Utahraptor in my office before, but that's pretty neat. And big thanks to Papa Jim, to Dr. James Ian Kirkland, the state paleontologist of Utah, for bringing this into the field this summer when I was working with him, and letting me photogrammetrize it so I can make a copy of it for educational purposes here. Pretty cool. Claw of Utahraptor. Miss Yvette says it will go in your new office. It will. Yeah, I'm excited to have it in there. And oh man, I was actually working on that new office a little bit this weekend in preparation for the move. It's going well. Yeah, Java 6.4 says, which program do you use for photogrammetry? There's a an Android app that I use called Polycam. Or maybe it's Polycam 3D, but look it up and you'll find it. You could do a certain number of files for free, which is what I've been doing. Yeah. And I did update the PPP command, Claire Burr, yeah. Yeah, here, let's talk about that for a minute, and then I'll show you what's on the 3D printer right now. And we'll see where our... This is a little wonky, the way that this works. And Bag O' Fish, how are you doing? New introduction from Bag O' Fish. I just got your channel recommended to me. I've never seen a channel like yours, but it's so cool. You just wait, Bag O' Fish, until I move. Right now, there's usually many more fossil 3D prints up here on the wall, but I'm in the process of packing them up. That's why my cameras are all messed up too. There's a lot going on right now because I'm moving this week. But welcome, Bag O' Fish. My name is Danny. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. So I'm a scientist who works on dinosaurs, publishes on dinosaurs, digs up dinosaurs. Check out the YouTube page if you want to see our fieldwork live streams from this summer. In fact, I'll show you real quick. Was digging up dinosaurs. Oh, hang on a second. There we go. Digging up dinosaurs this past summer. Here we go. Come on now. Hopefully you can see and or hear me right now. But, yeah. It's good to have you here on our last day here at the quarry. We're actually in the midst of cleaning up right now. Get the last few bones out, and I'm gonna start filling in the hole part way.
What you doing?
To make sure that everything is safe and protected for when we come back next year. So, yeah, excellent. Anyway, and I'm glad you can see and hear me. We had at least 3 new species of dinosaur that we were digging up this summer in Wyoming and in Utah. I streamed at both different, in both states. It was a ton of fun. Yeah. I'd love to hear how you got into paleontology, Bag of Fish. I could tell you about it, but stick around, and if we get a raid, I'll play you a welcome video that kind of explains everything. Anyway, it's good to have you here. And Luna Sear. Oh yeah. Luna Sear. You're not gruesome. But 18 months of subscribing there.
Subscription is old enough to vote now. That's how this works, right?
Sure, Luna Sear. Yeah, we'll let you vote if you want. We'll let your subscription vote early and often, right? Thank you, Luna Sear, for your continued support. It means a lot to me. It's the only reason I can continue doing this full time is because of supporters like yourself. So thank you. Appreciate you, Luna Sear. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we were. I was about to get into our Partner Plus spiel here. I've got big plans for doing more science outreach and education on this channel, bringing in other paleontologists for interviews at least once a week. But in order to do that...
Serious game of paleontology.
Sir Hype, thank you for the follow. Welcome. And welcome to the global and serious game of paleontology. Sir Hype, thanks for following. In order to bring other paleontologists on and do interviews with them and offer them an honorarium, so it's actually worth their time to appear as a guest on these broadcasts, I need to start making a little bit more money. Right now I make enough that I can survive on. It'd be really nice to be able to make some extra money so that I can offer that to other paleontologists to appear on this broadcast and really, you know, supercharge our mission of science outreach and education. So that's where Partner Plus comes in here. Partner Plus is this Twitch thing where It's a new program where if you get above a certain number of recurring subscriptions every month as a Twitch partner, you will automatically have a 40% bump in your revenue for recurring subs at least. Doesn't apply to bits or Prime subs, but a 40% increase in revenue from a 50-50 split to a 70-30 split. And this would be a huge deal for this channel to be able to get that. And so far, we've met it for November. And now, December is upon us. And we've got to try and get to 350 sub points in order to make that happen. I don't know why it's so low right now. It says 48. You would think that these would carry over. I don't think it means 350 new subs, because that wouldn't really make sense. I think it's as people resubscribe, then that counts. But if anybody would like to resubscribe at a higher tier, that would help even more, because tier 2 subs count for 2 points instead of just 1. Tier 3 subs count for 6 points. And that is a lot of points. So some people have already done that, and thank you to everybody who's already done that. You're a big part of the reason why we made this for November. So yeah, anyway, thank you everybody for helping us get there. I'm so glad to see that this ticked over on Friday, and November is in the bag. So thank you. Gift subs do not count, Neil, unfortunately. No. They've got to be, they've got to be recurring subs. Tony is my baby says, do you know the split on Kick is like 95-5? I thought it was 100%, because they get all that, like, gambling blood money. Tony is my baby. Did they drop it on Kick? Anyway. It's a big trade-off with Kick, because, again, you have to be on Kick. Ugh. But, yeah. Anyway. And, what does the spinning skull behind you belong to? Asked Bag of Fish. Ooh, we've got a command for that. That is Deinonychus, a.k.a. the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. There's the command. Thank you, Claire. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let me pull that down. Yeah, Deinonychus, my main man. Yeah, Braddington. Deinonychus is a dromaeosaur. What paleontologists call a dromaeosaur, but ever since Jurassic Park, members of the public tend to call them raptors, which is a term that wasn't applied to dinosaurs until Jurassic Park. That book and the subsequent movies have had such a huge influence on popular culture that almost universally members of the public refer to this as a raptor now. Yeah. And I'll see you later, Lunaseer. Thank you for being here. You, good luck with your work. Yeah. There's a lot about Velociraptor that...
blaming the dinosaurs.
How did dinosaurs communicate with each other?
Oh, Hugan, holy cow, thank you for the 100 bits. Here, we can get to that in a minute. Let me first talk a little bit about Deinonychus. Ugh. So Deinonychus looks a lot like Utahraptor, honestly. There's our Utahraptor there, but not quite as big. There's Utahraptor. And there's Dromaeosauridae, the family of dromaeosaurs. So there's a person, a human person for scale. And then you've got Microraptor, Velociraptor, Ostroraptor, Utahraptor, Dromaeosaurus, who lent its name to the whole group. And right there you've got Deinonychus. Right there. Deinonychus. That is the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Yeah. Yeah. And do scientists ever borrow terms from Jurassic Park? Saggy Iguana wants to know. Kind of the other way around. Jurassic Park borrowed a lot of terms from fossil science. If you listen closely in the film Jurassic Park, Laura Dern's character refers to a Triceratops as a trike, which is a term that, you know, like, they actually took that from dinosaur paleontologists. We've been referring to Triceratops as trikes for I don't know how long. Probably since the 70s, maybe longer. Yeah. Araya says they're all beautiful babies, aren't they? Yeah. They're pretty cool critters, the dromaeosaurs. These big killer ground-running eagles. They're not eagles, but you know, think of them like big giant ground-running eagles. And yeah, those claws. Pretty impressive. Yeah. Oh yeah, but scientists do borrow terms from the far side. That is true, Steely Dan. Yeah. And Assault Rabbit wants to know, do you think they would eat a whole person or just pick the meat off the bones? A dinosaur like Utahraptor, if you're a smaller person, maybe they'd think about swallowing you whole, but probably not. They're going to be eating you while you're alive, most likely. And just, like, kind of, you know, taking bits of you off and swallowing them. Just like a lot of modern birds of prey do. Here. There was a webcomic that actually featured this idea, and what's cool is it actually cites a scientific paper in it. This is from the webcomic XKCD. And, yeah, it cites my old crew chief's paper, Denver Fowler, on a raptor prey restraint. This idea that dromaeosaurs, like Utahraptor, like Deinonychus, like Velociraptor, that they would have stood on top of their victims, using their hooked claws to kind of stay on top, and then flapping their wings, because these guys had feathered wings despite being too heavy to fly. They would have used those feathered wings in order to stay upright, generating just enough lift to be able to keep their balance and stay on top of the prey as they eat it alive. We see this in modern birds of prey. There's a peregrine falcon doing that to some unfortunate galliform or duck-like bird there. Yeah, it's a thing. Raptor prey restraint. Yeah. Anyway. While you're alive. Exactly, Alex Vixen, yeah. Yeah. So anyway. But, you know, and here's this is from the paper, by the way. These are scientific figures from that 2011 paper. Yeah. Because this is behavior that we see in modern birds of prey. Yeah. Anyway. Good stuff. I don't remember how we got on that, but there it is. We had another question from Jawa64. Jawa wants to know, this is a kiwi egg size. Is it? I'll pull up another image, Jawa, because I know what you're talking about. Modern kiwi. Produce enormous eggs. Like, the egg takes up the majority of the female kiwi's body. And these are birds, so they are dinosaurs. All birds are living dinosaurs. Let's watch a little video on that, and I think the question was, how did dinosaur egg sizes compare? Did they have much bigger eggs ratio per adult weight? Ooh, we'll get into that in a minute. There. Yeah. Let's try this right here.
5 species of
ancestors could fly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that when you're a bird, your whole thing is flight, usually. Like, by default. There are so many sacrifices that birds have to make in order to be able to achieve that miracle of flight. They need super hollow hollow bones. They need this really lightweight respiratory system. They need, like, a single oviduct. Birds today can only lay one egg at a time, unlike their dinosaur ancestors, because in trying to save weight for flight, they got rid of one of the oviducts, and now they only have one. There's a lot of trade-offs that happen when you have to fly. It's a real kind of bottleneck for morphology. But if you arrive on this, beautiful set of islands like New Zealand that have no mammalian predators, also no snakes, as somebody in chat pointed out, then you don't have to worry about flying anymore. You're just on permanent vacation. You can afford to get, to lose the ability to fly and just sit on the ground and eat all the bugs you want, and that's what kiwis did for tens of millions of years. That's what their ancestors did that, gave rise to the modern kiwi that we have today. It's a story that we see in the history of life again and again and again. Flight is expensive. So if you don't have to do it, don't do it, and you'll be better off for it. That's the story of the kiwi. Yeah, unless you were a penguin or an ostrich. Says, why not? Because, penguins did lose the ability to fly through the air, but now they can fly through the water, Ostriches, at some point, lost the ability to fly as well, and it allowed them to get really, really big. Ostriches are the heaviest bird in the world. So yeah, they're also good examples of this idea. Yeah. And Silent Kevin says, if I remember correctly, is the term for multiple eggs a clutch? Sure, yeah. Or clutch. Clutch is generally the word that we use, Kevin, yeah. You're right about that. Now, kiwis have tremendously large eggs for their body size. And this is a strategy that they have in order to have their young be really well developed. Like, here's an X-ray of a kiwi skeleton, a female kiwi with the egg inside. It's like the majority of her body is that big honkin' egg. It's just ridiculous. Crazy, 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 crazy. So the question that we had earlier was, were non-bird dinosaurs like this too? How big were their eggs? Must have been gigantic, right? Well, I'm going to show you right here the largest egg by volume ever laid by a dinosaur. This is basically as big as a dinosaur egg can get. You ready? I have a 3D print of it right here. There we go. Can anybody tell me what dinosaur laid this egg? Some of you already know. Not an ostrich, Alex Vixen. This is significantly larger than an ostrich egg. No. I am just trying to egg you on some more if it's working. No, this is true information. Solor says T-Rex. Not a T-Rex egg, but good guess. This is probably larger than a T-Rex egg, honestly. It's not a sauropod, only Saurus. Good guess, though. It is actually... Here, let me find you another clip. Take a look at this.
I put together this. Well, that gives you a real idea of what an elephant bird's egg was like.
An elephant bird. Let me show you what that is real quick. Elephant birds are these gigantic birds that lived until very, very recently. Like CE 700 or something like that. Like, elephant birds are around the same age as, like, the religion of Islam. Or they only went extinct around the same time that Islam became a religion. Around the same time, like AD or CE 700. They were enormous flightless birds that lived on the island of Madagascar. They were huge. Like, very, very tall. There's an elephant bird compared to a human and compared to an ostrich. In this illustration right here. They were big. And 800 to 1050 AD, even more recently than that, Alex Vixen? Holy cow. Well, let's take a look at this. I might have to reverse the footage here too, because sometimes YouTube freaks out about BBC videos also. It's an original egg, Tenerimia. Yeah. Pretty cool. That's an original. This is a 3D print, which I've not painted or anything, or textured yet. But, yeah. This is the largest dinosaur egg ever. The elephant bird, Apiornis, laid eggs, as far as we can tell, that are larger, at least by volume, not necessarily by length, than any other dinosaur that's ever lived. And that's because there's a ceiling to how big you can make an egg. We were talking earlier about how kiwis take such a long time to hatch out of their eggs. Part of that is the lack of an egg tooth, and part of it is that the shell is so thick. The larger an egg is, proportionally the thicker the shell has to be. So the thickness of the shell increases at a higher rate than the volume of the egg does. So at a certain point, the shell becomes too thick for gas exchange or for the chick to be able to break out. So there is like an upper limit, a physical upper boundary for how big an egg can be. And the elephant bird was probably running up against that. It might have been just bumping its head on that ceiling there. It's pretty cool to think about. We've got lots and lots of dinosaur eggs. From lots and lots of different kinds of dinosaur. From almost every major group of dinosaurs, we have eggs now. And one of the most important of those... One of the most important of those discoveries happened in Montana. Brachiosaur paleobiology. But, good stuff. What I do want to talk about a little bit, let's just try and tear ourselves away from dinosaurs for just a few moments here. I know dinosaurs are incredibly interesting. They're what I work on. I try very hard not to be too much of a dinosaur chauvinist here on Twitch. Even though dinosaurs are what I do, what I work on, what I love. But let's take a look at the 3D printer right now, and let me see if anybody can guess what we're printing. Take a wild stab at it. What do you think might be printing on the printer? The Millennium Falcon? Nope. Pothok, but good guess. Egg, says Tony is my baby. Murph says egg. That's not it either. Ooh, Dr. Irrefutable, sort of close. Claire Burr, yes. Delta Rain. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, indeed. I'm printing a Nautilus. Of the genus Nautilus here. Nautilus pompilius is the species. Let's talk about Nautilus for a minute. This is going to be, man, it's going to be a lot of work to paint, but it'll be a challenge. I think it'll be fun. Let's talk about these critters. Here. From the Monterey Bay Aquarium, which also streams here on Twitch. Look at this incredible creature. And morphologically close, yeah, if not phylogenetically, Dr. Irrefutable, yeah. Yeah. What an incredible animal. So these guys are nautiloids. And the fossil history of nautiloids goes back long before the dinosaurs, into the Paleozoic era. They are super cool critters. Here's a video from the Shed Aquarium in Chicago. No sound, I guess? Trying to feed a nautilus. It looks like a segment of fish right there. And there it goes. It's just gonna pull that in. Don't drop it now. And there's that beak inside. Oh, that's a little grisly. Ooh. That's maybe a little bit, I don't know. Something about that creeps me out a little bit. But nautilus themselves are really, really cool animals. They really are. Here's one eating some krill. That beak is gnarly, Steely Dan. Yeah. What a neat animal. Yeah. Cephalod beaks not to be trifled with. I'm in full agreement with you there, Claire Burr. So these are animals that have been around for a long, long, long time. Let's see if this is any good.
Fossil. The nautilus is often called a living fossil because similar organisms have existed since before the dinosaurs.
This is not one of them, though. This is an ammonite. Ammonites or nautilus are not closely related. They're very different creatures in a lot of ways.
Nautiluses are mollusks that inhabit tropical waters around the Indo-Pacific. They use the carbonate in seawater to make their shells.
Yeah.
More than 90...
So they actually precipitate out a mineral in seawater and, like, they use that to make their shell. It's really, really neat how that works.
Suckerless tentacles protrude from a nautilus's shell. They prey on crustaceans like shrimp, along with dead fish. They possess a beak for crushing prey. Nautiluses have poor eyesight, so it is assumed that they use their sense of smell to locate prey.
And Huygens says living fossil is a misnomer. I agree. Yeah. I don't know. I would like to make a long form video, maybe for YouTube in the future, about like the term living fossil and why it is kind of a misnomer. But the main thing is a living fossil is generally just a creature that it used to have a bunch of different relatives, and now most of those went extinct. And you just have a few species left, sometimes even just one. That's the case with like coelacanths or with horseshoe crabs or with nautilus, where they used to be part of a group that was much more widespread. And now there's just a few left. And it's like, oh, well, that's a weird thing. And it looks kind of like these fossils. It's a living fossil. But they are invariably different from their fossil ancestors. Very, very different. In a lot of ways. Those ways might be kind of subtle, but if you talk to a researcher who actually works on these critters, they'd be like, oh yeah, modern nautilus look completely different from ones that you see in the Cretaceous.
Giant, wreaking his prehistoric fury on modern man and his puny machines.
Banks Skywalker. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah. So could the genus Homo be a living fossil? I mean, Green Panthera? That's actually... Oh man, I love where your head's at there. Yeah, maybe we would be living fossils, because all of our relatives are extinct. All the other hominids... Hominids or hominins? You know, chimps and bonobos are still around, but everything else that was closer to us, kaput, gone. We wiped most of those other guys out. So yeah, maybe we would be living fossils by that metric there, Green Panther. Although... that lineage, our lineage doesn't go back very far. So it would be a very generous interpretation of the term living fossil to include us. Because 5 million years is nothing. And that's about how long ago our lineage split off. Oh yeah. We absorbed at least one of them? Yeah, Neanderthals lineage, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
A nautilus will move closer to the surface at night to hunt.
Oh, and holy cow! What is this? A gamer's diary?
A gamer's diary and their 17 raiders are about to get flattened by dinosaur content.
Well, hello, a gamer's diary. It is great to have you here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. We were just talking about Nautilus here, because I am 3D printing a Nautilus shell to be used as a teaching aid in the future. Ellie Wen, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Gamer's Diary. How did your stream go? I hope it was really, really good. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Gamer's Diary says, NU Raid, welcome, welcome. Tell me how your stream went. How was Minecraft? It was very nice. I'm glad to hear it. What kind of mines did you craft? Oh, welcome. There's not a whole lot to show off in my office right now because I'm in the process of moving to a new place. Thursday and Friday, I'm taking off this week for the big move. But I'm moving to a new place to live, new streaming space. I'm excited about that. But anyway, welcome to Paleontologizing, especially for anybody who's brand new here. Let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I work on dinosaurs. I study dinosaurs. I publish on dinosaurs in the scientific lit. I dig up dinosaurs during the summers. We were live streaming that this summer on Twitch. That was a ton of fun. So follow if you want to see more of that this next summer. Anyway, this might be a good opportunity for a welcome video. And you dug for Minecraft dinosaurs. You built a house. Oh, very nice. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm glad you had a good time. Thank you for bringing your viewers here. I'm gonna ask everybody in the chat, would you like to see a welcome video? Type a 1 into the chat if you would like to see a quick welcome video to introduce you to the channel, talk a little bit about how a paleontologist showed up here in the first place, what I'm doing on this platform. And there's a bunch of ones there. Okay. Well, without further ado, we're gonna bring forth our good friend, previously recorded Danny. And he's going to talk a little bit about who I am, why I'm here, why in the world a paleontologist would be on Twitch. So without further ado, previously recorded Danny, go ahead and take it away. Well, thanks, present day Danny. Well, if you happen to be new around here, then welcome to Paleontologizing. You may well be wondering to yourself, well, if this is Twitch, then where are the video games? I'm going to level with you here. I don't really do much in the way of video games. I'm a paleontologist. My name is Danny Anduza, and dinosaurs are my area of study. But how in the world does a paleontologist end up on Twitch? Well, you're about to find out. When I finished high school, I moved to Montana and immediately started work at Museum of the Rockies, which at the time was an unparalleled powerhouse of paleobiology. That program was built by this guy.
Famed paleontologist Alan Grant.
Well, kind of.
You consulted on that movie.
I did consult on all those movies.
And they said the guy Alan Grant was you.
Yes, yeah, well, fortunately he didn't get eaten.
Meet Jack Horner, the real-life Alan Grant. He's one of the most prominent and controversial paleontologists in the country, a dyslexic MacArthur Foundation genius who never finished college and who says he doesn't care why dinosaurs went extinct. To him, the important part is how they lived.
It was at Museum of the Rockies, under the auspices of Jack Horner, that I learned how to be a dinosaur paleontologist. And a huge part of that I learned by working with Jack's final graduate student, a guy by the name of Denver Fowler, who would later go on to become curator of the Badlands Dinosaur Museum. Working with Denver, I did summer after summer of fieldwork in the remote Badlands of Montana. Together, we dug up more dinosaurs than we knew what to do with, at fossil sites numbering in the hundreds. In 2012, I discovered a new species of ceratopsian dinosaur, hopefully soon to be published. The next year, we excavated the world's smallest and youngest Tyrannosaurus rex. Then, we dug up a brand new ankylosaur.
Montana's news leader.
5 paleontologists are excavating what looks to likely be a new species of armored dinosaur.
So we found its head, we found parts of its armor and plates, and so it should be a new species.
Not bad, right? Well, anyway, much like my fieldwork, my research also focuses on dinosaurs. For example, here's Triarchunkus, the last of the Alvarezsaurs, just published in July of 2020. One of my current projects focuses on Spinosaurids. I can't really talk too much about that until it's a little bit closer to publication, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's get back to how I ended up on Twitch. A couple years ago, things in Montana were declining rapidly, so I picked up and moved on to greener pastures. I'm so glad I did. And with that new perspective, I also realized that I have very little patience with the soul-crushing bureaucracy within academia. So for the time being anyway, I decided to take my career in a slightly different direction. I got hired for a job in early childhood education. As a teacher, I get to have a positive impact on kids' lives, and help them find a passion for science. Then, when COVID-19 showed up, the school had to close. But that didn't stop the teaching or the learning. We just moved online.
All right, friends. So we're going to be looking at a book in a little bit, but I thought we'd start off with a song. At 3, 2, 1. Oh, give me a home
where the hadrosaurs roamed, where triceratops bellowed and grazed, where erosion uncovers bones we seek to discover, for to strike the whole world amazed. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where sails on his field a discouraging world, and the skies are not cloudy all day. It was a pretty easy jump from teaching online to streaming on Twitch. I had my first broadcast in May, and I've been on here ever since. Now, I believe pretty strongly that any good scientist should also be a public servant. In my opinion, talking to everyday people about her science is one of the most important things that a researcher can do. I now have a golden opportunity to reach out directly to people where they are. This is what I'm all about, and now, thanks to Twitch, I get to share it with you. And I'm so happy to be able to do so. It's my intention to continue this mission of education by answering your questions, providing good science content, and working to grow this channel. And if you could help by following, or if you could afford it by subscribing, I would be deeply grateful. So anyway, to my regular viewers, thank you again for sitting through this. To everybody who's new, welcome. I'm genuinely, earnestly glad that you're here. And I hope you stick around. We've got a remarkable little community here, and I'd be delighted if you join us. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back into it. So, present day Danny, back to you. Well, thank you very much, previously recorded Danny, and
America loses them forever.
Holy cow, it's Skyline time, thank you! Holy moly, thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the support. That means so much to me, it really does. Thank you very, very much. Enjoy those emotes, enjoy not having to watch any ads. Enjoy the knowledge that you are, you know, helping support science outreach and science education here on Twitch. And helping me pay my bills. I appreciate that very much in Skyline time. I really do. Thank you, thank you. Excellent. Yeah. And thank you, A Gamer's Diary, for that incredible raid. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah. And Aliwen says that was very cool. Thank you. Yeah, those videos are getting a little old at this point. I have been telling myself I'm going to do some new ones for a while now. Haven't had time to get around to it yet. Especially not this week. I'm moving this week. Holy cow. It's a lot of work. But yeah. Yeah. Anywho. I'm so glad you're here. We were talking about these critters. I'm 3D printing a nautilus right now. And these cephalopods are super, super cool. So we're just watching a quick video on them, and then maybe we'll watch a PBS Eons one about why they're not as widespread anymore. But if any of you, especially new folks who just came in, if you've got any questions at all about, well, about dinosaurs in particular, because that's what I actually work on, that's what I publish on, that's what I study. Or if you've got questions about the history of life in general, about paleontology more broadly, about the fossil record and extinction and evolution and all that stuff, don't hesitate to ask. That's what these streams are all about. That's really the bulk of what we do here is answering viewer questions, taking us off on all kinds of cool tangents and stuff like that. So do not be shy with your questions. I implore you. Yeah. A quick question. What made Jack Horner controversial? The Real Bearminator. What a great name. So Jack has always been a bit of a rebel in some ways. Some of his ideas haven't always been the most popular. Ideas about dinosaur ontogeny or anagenesis or stuff like that. Yeah. That's really the majority of it in the scientific world, you know? Yeah, there've been like, you know, personal life stuff too, but there's a lot of like personal life stuff for a lot of different scientists who are not nearly as controversial as Jack. So it's primarily, I think, the ideas that he has that have made him controversial. And what's cool is like most of those seem to be being borne out. Jack's definitely been wrong about stuff. We all are. We're scientists, you know? Shoot. We're human beings. But it seems like he's generally on the right track about most of these ideas about dinosaur paleobiology. So yeah. Telling other scientists that, like, oh yeah, that's not actually a new species of dinosaur that you just named. It's a juvenile from a previously known dinosaur. It just looks different because it's a juvenile. A lot of paleontologists do not want to hear that. Yeah. Bearminator says, awesome, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having us. I was once wrong about something, but it was a long time ago. I'm glad it's you've gotten over that, Bearminator. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and Casey Snowart, how are you doing? Welcome back. We are going to continue talking about Nautilus for a little bit. Let's get back to that.
And relocate to deeper waters during the day to avoid predators. The Nautilus's shell consists of a series of chambers.
Beautiful,
More chambers
beautiful
are
shell.
added as the Nautilus grows. The Nautilus occupies the outermost chamber. The other chambers are used to regulate buoyancy. They utilize their siphon to propel themselves through the water by pumping air and water in and out of their shell.
Pretty cool.
The Nautilus can live for over 20 years. However, they do not reach reproductive maturity until 10 to 15 years of age.
That's one of the reasons why they are endangered today, we think, is that they take a long time to reach maturation, to reach a point where they can actually produce offspring. And that makes them particularly vulnerable to predation.
We have one of the most extraordinary events to take place on our planet. The gift of 100 subscriptions to Paleontologizing.
The semicolons.
Holy cow.
100 subs.
Semicolons. Holy moly. That is Possibly the first time that has ever happened. That's the first time that alert has ever been triggered. Holy cow, semicolons. That is extraordinary. I don't even know what to say. Semicolons. That is incredibly generous. You just blew away our sub goal for the week in one fell swoop. That is extraordinary. Holy moly. Do I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. 100 gift subs. Astonishing. Astonishing. I hope you know how much that's going to help me, you know, take care of expenses for moving this week. Because I'm moving to a new place. It's, that really does mean a tremendous amount. So thank you. Thank you very, very much. From the bottom of my heart, I am deeply grateful. Thank you for that incredible show of support. I don't even know what to say. Coming out of a lurk for this. Amazing, thank you. Lordy, can you believe that? Amazing. Semicolons. I appreciate you more than you know. Holy cow, you just made my whole week. That's excellent. That's really excellent. Thank you, thank you. I feel incredibly appreciated. Verging on speechlessness. And thank you, Golganek, for gifting semicolons. Golganek, thank you, thank you. I do really appreciate that. I really, really do. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyway, Semicolons hasn't said anything, so I don't want to blow up their spot. Let's continue on with our science here, shall we? We're talking about Nautilus, and this is one of those subjects that's near and dear to my heart because this is a beautiful confluence between paleontology and modern conservation.
Try blaming the dinosaurs.
And holy cow, Matt M33, thank you for those 100 bits. Appreciate that. With 100 subs, what is that going to get us to for our hype train? We're starting off at like a level 4 or something? Level 9? Holy cow. We've got an opportunity to reach a totally new hype train level that we've never gotten to before. That's incredible. That's really incredible. Holy moly. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. And Clipper says they have. Wait, did I miss that?
If you're feeling a bit cheated, try blaming the dinosaurs.
Not the same, but hype.
Thank you, Risudegu, for the 100 bits. Yeah, 100 bits, 100 subs. Not the same, but you know the spirit is there, I think. There's an ad coming up in a little bit less than a minute now. Oh, Semicolon said good luck with the move. Thank you, Semicolons. Thank you so much. Big paleo salute to the Semicolons. It's one of my favorite forms of punctuation and one of our most generous benefactors here this week. Well, the most generous benefactor here this week. Holy cow. No contest. Thank you, Semicolons. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. It's excellent. That ad will fall on nearly no one now. Exactly, Risudegu. Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that. this is one of my, like, this is a topic near and dear to my heart because Nautilus, we appreciate them not just because they're beautiful, but because creatures like this go back to long before the dinosaurs. Not ammonites, but fossil nautiloids, like our modern Nautilus. And today they're...
Try blaming the dinosaurs.
Thank you, Golganak, for those 100 bits. Appreciate that very much, Golganak. Thank you, thank you. They kind of help... The fossil record gives us context for Nautilus today that makes their conservation that much more pressing.
In all the world, there are fewer than 40 full-time dinosaur pets.
And Murph! 5 gift subs from Murph there.
3 of them are leading this expedition.
Murph, thank you. Thank you for those 5 gift subs. Thank you for helping me be, so far, the only full-time live streaming paleontologist in the world that I know of. Murph, thank you for helping support this channel, and thank you for those 5 gift subs. Holy cow, are we doing great. Holy moly. Thank you, Murph. Ah!
Really snake tank is spared no expense.
And thank you, Tommy Ploticus, for that gift sub there.
One sub to I got subbed into 3.
Excellent, Tommy Ploticus. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Oh, and Arg got one. Well, excellent. Yeah. I do love the semicolon and the interrobang. Very nice semicolons. You know what my very favorite piece of... My most overused piece of punctuation? It's gonna make some noise, because I have my soundboard in right now. But, the M dash. I probably use it sometimes when a semicolon would be a bit more graceful, but it's just this wonderful, you know, piece of all-purpose punctuation there. I use it far too often, but it's lovely. It's beautiful. Yeah. And Dr. Terra, I've not seen the new Prehistoric Kingdom update trailer with Spinosaurus. We'll have to take a look at that in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. How much you like it? Yeah, Claire, I use it a lot. Anyway, let's watch another quick video on Nautilus. And then we'll watch a longer video from PBS Eons about why Nautilus today are not nearly as widespread as they used to be. There's an interesting hypothesis about why they are only restricted to a certain part of the world now when they used to live in every ocean everywhere.
So I love Nautilus. They're a unique group of animals. They've been around on our planet for the last 500 to 600
and that might be a Nautilus there. That might not be an ammonite.
million years, and have
That's a long time.
been around on our planet for the last 500 to 600 million years, and have left a remarkable record.
Hey, Timmer's Crutch, welcome.
We don't have very much to compare it to because it's so different from all other modern cephalopods.
Yeah. How's it different from a squid, though? Very different.
Nautilus is the most primitive of all the cephalopods.
Huh.
The oldest squids that we have are 350 million years, but the lineage of Nautiloids is probably about 500 million years old.
Holy cow. So they're going back to, like, the Cambrian period. That's pretty nuts. Yeah, that'll put them solidly in the late Cambrian at 500 million years old. Yeah.
So what makes Nautilus...
Utah raptor is the most dangerous dinosaur around.
Almost a whole year of paleo power, paleo YES.
Matt M33, 37 months.
Paleo YES move, paleo YES move.
Thank you, Matt M33. I appreciate you. One of our most long-running subscribers there. Thank you, Matt.
Unique among all cephalopods today is this external shell.
Yeah. It's going to be so much fun to paint. I mean, that's what I'm printing right now, as that shell. And as it continues, it'll become more and more obvious, like, what's going on here. But yeah. That's, oh man. I'm going to have to get really good with the airbrush in order to be able to do this well. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun.
The dawn of cephalopod evolution, probably all of them had shells. On the outside, it seems like it's a solid shell, but on the inside, you immediately detect that it's a series of chambers, ever increasing in size.
Hence, chambered
until you come
nautilus.
to the body chamber where the animal is lodged. So each of these chambers is filled with air during life, and that permits the animal to maintain neutral buoyancy as it grows.
Yep. And so it's just like a submarine. Those are like ballast tanks on the inside. And so they can expel air, or they can maybe take air in from the surrounding water. I'm not totally sure how that works. But that allows them to adjust their level of buoyancy by taking air in or releasing air. They can dive, or they can rise in the water column.
If you
way
look
more
at
than 8
early
arms.
embryology, you'll see the same number of arm buds as other cephalopods, but they develop very differently, so that they develop into all of these tiny little tentacle-like structures called cirri, about 100
clumped together in one vast supercontinent.
Reanimated Bit, thank you.
Dinosaurs soon occupied every corner of that world.
We are talking Nautilus Bit. It's good to have you back.
Nautilus.
Are you a Nautilus aficionado yourself? A nautiloid devotee? It's good to have you here. I'm printing a Nautilus shell right now. I'm getting my Nautilus the ethical way, printing it at home rather than contributing to the poaching of these animals by like buying one of their shells, you know?
little cirri, little tentacle-like structures called cirri, about 100
Siri,
little
interesting. Hey Siri, what are you doing on the front of a Nautilus? Yeah. And wait, Codmos, Diplodocus is we've got scales on Diplodocus, Codmos.
If you look at squids, you think of them as lunging predators. Nautilus doesn't swim all that well. I mean, it swims perfectly well for what it needs to do, but it's not going to be doing these predatory lunging activities.
It never had the makings of a varsity athlete, you know? If you know what I mean.
It's going to scavenge along the bottom looking for dead animals. So it's a different mode of life. If you look at the common squid loligo, it produces thousands of eggs, but each egg is very small. It's probably going to be 1 millimeter in size, and the newly hatched animals are going to spend time as paralarvae. Nautilus is a very different strategy. A nautilus will lay only about a dozen eggs, the largest in the invertebrate kingdom. And
holy cow, we were talking about egg size earlier. I didn't realize Nautilus laid such big eggs for their body size. That's really interesting.
Embryonic development takes an extraordinarily long time, a year. A nautilus, a little more than an inch in size, hatches, and it begins to assume all of the behavior of an adult, scavenging along the...
Hang on a minute. Oh, shoot. We are having really bad... We're having a lot of dropped frames right now and stuff. This is another reason why I'm glad I'm moving, but, yeah, the internet in my neighborhood isn't great, and it kind of goes down fairly frequently. There's going to be scheduled maintenance, I think, tonight on the wiring and stuff. I got an email from, or rather a text message from the ISP. Yeah. So, anyway, stick around. It's 0 kilobytes per second? Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're just having some bad connectivity right now. It's infrastructural. It's not Twitch's fault. It's in my neighborhood. The wiring is bad. Somebody knocked over one of the telephone poles in my neighborhood a few months ago, and I think I don't know. They had to reroute some stuff. It's not an ideal situation. Yeah. We do have a stream theme, Big Eggs. Yeah, Steely Dan. It's funny how these things just sort of fall out sometimes. Yeah. The latency is growing. Yeah, Lenina, this is frustrating, isn't it? I'm sorry. Connectivity is really, really bad right now. Here. Let me take a look. Let's do speed test. Let's see what we're at. Oh, yeah. It's significantly lower than it's supposed to be right now. Anyway. And the Raven says it's not you, it's been doing this on all the streams? Okay. Anyway, sorry it's not great. Buffering like a badger in a blizzard, someone said today. I've seen this happen 5 times today. Oh shoot, the Raven. Well, okay. There's also scheduled maintenance going on the internet infrastructure in my neighborhood tonight. Internet should go down, they said, for about half an hour. Around midnight tonight. But yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this. Here we go.
As paralarvae. Nautilus is a very different strategy. A nautilus will lay only about a dozen eggs, the largest in the invertebrate kingdom. And embryonic development takes an
I did not know that Nautilus had the largest eggs of any invertebrate. That's pretty cool.
extraordinarily long time, a year. A nautilus, a little more than an inch in size, hatches and it begins to assume all of the behavior of an adult, scavenging along the bottom.
Very interesting. I remember talking about this with Denver Fowler back in the day, about why Nautilus survived the mass extinction event. That huge biotic crisis at the end of the Cretaceous period, you know, when the asteroid hit and like 70% of all life, 80%, whatever it was, died out at the time. Nautilus survived when their ammonite cousins died. So, when these critters completely went extinct, even though there were hundreds or thousands of species of them, these guys who weren't nearly as common, they survived. And the idea that Denver had was that ammonites would be... They start off very, very small, and they move through several different niches as they grow and mature. That in their ontogeny, they're actually partitioning different niches. Whereas Nautilus, we're not doing that. Just like with mammals, they're in the same niche their whole lives. So yeah. It's an interesting idea. Here.
More than an inch in size, hatches, and it begins to assume all of the behavior of an adult, scavenging along the bottom.
Yeah.
Nautilus is clearly one of the most exceptional cephalopods in that it goes very slowly.
Oh, hummingbird, Cosmos. Hummingbird.
Octopus, cuttlefish grow very rapidly and reach maturity in a few years and die. But Nautilus reaches maturity in about 20 years.
Jeez. 20 years. That is probably, 9/10 of chat isn't even that old here, you know?
So Nautilus today are broadly distributed in the Indo-Pacific, and we don't really know exactly all the places they live, but at some sites we know for sure that they have been over-harvested, not for the food value, but for the ornamental value.
Yeah.
The fact that they have very few eggs and they're slow-growing animals really is not good news for a population. So if you are fishing them, you risk exterminating them. Current research is revealing new sites. So there may be hope that it's a more robust population than we think, but conservationists around the world have begun to worry about the fate of Nautilus.
Such cool critters. And I am really excited to be printing my very own Nautilus shell. Not purchasing one that had to be harvested from the wild. Not contributing to their endangeredness here, but instead making one at home. Now, why is it Why is it that they are only restricted to the Indo-Pacific nowadays? When they used to live all over the world. Harissa says, my granddaughter is here with me and she loves dinosaurs. Well, awesome. Yeah, Harissa. Well, let me know if she's got any questions about dinosaurs. We're going to jump into this video right here from PBS Eons about nautiloids. Nautiloids is the group at large, are nautiloids.
Earth's oceans have changed a lot in the last 500 million years or so. Diverse animal groups emerged, thrived, and vanished. Entire ecosystems and seascapes have come and gone, and nearly everything was killed off a couple of times at least. But through all that change, one thing has remained the same. Almost as long as there has been complex animal life in the oceans, there have been nautiloids. This group of ancient cephalopods, squid and octopus relatives, have been a constant presence for around 500 million years. And we even still have species around today in the form of nautiluses. But around 30
nuclear
million
powered,
years
thank
ago,
you, Matt.
they suffered a mysterious
The first nuclear submarine. Yeah.
Something gradually began to push them from their former global range into a single remaining refuge, the deep tropical waters of the Indo-West Pacific. But a refuge from what?
From what indeed, chat? Do we have any guesses? What does not occur here so that the Nautilus are safe? I didn't get this right when I was first watching this video. I'd never really heard this hypothesis before. Well, that's disappointing, Lenina. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Well, nobody's got any guesses? Cooley Spot says Triceratops? I don't know.
These hardy survivors had made it through everything the planet had thrown at them across deep time, from a devastating asteroid impact to massive volcanic eruptions. But this was a very different kind of threat. The evolution of a new group of predators that would nearly finish them off. Seals?
Yeah.
Nautiloids probably emerged.
Once again, those sea lions causing trouble. Seals and sea lions. But yeah. And cuttlefish mentioned, yeah, cuttlefish are very cool, Steely Dan.
In the early Cambrian period. But the old
Early Cambrian, holy cow. I was thinking late Cambrian. That's pretty neat.
oldest undisputed fossils only date back around 490.
Okay.
And this was just 30 or 40 million years after the Cambrian explosion, when complex, recognizably animal
Cambrian explosion probably overblown.
Common in the
no
fossil
pun
record.
intended.
And since then, nautiloids have endured and survived quite a lot, including all 5 mass extinction events in this planet's history. Not to mention the emergence of pretty much every major group of marine predators, from sharks to mosasaurs and ichthyosaurs to whales. So it's fair to say this isn't their first rodeo. And some of their most iconic traits are thought to be ancient adaptations for dealing with these threats. Like their famous coiled shells, for example. These started out straighter and almost horn-shaped in the late Cambrian. The more predator-resistant coiled forms only evolved later, around the time that early jawed fishes and predatory cephalopods arrived on the scene.
Yeah, so there's another kind of nautiloid. I think Endoceras and co. are nautiloids, aren't they? Let's see. Yeah. They are nautiloids, yeah. There we go. Trying to find you this clip here. Was it Endosaurus, or was it was somebody else? What's the giant cephalopod in Life on Our Planet? What was the genus name for it? Because they mentioned its genus name. Chemarosaurus, that was it. Yeah. This is a wild critter. Take a look. Yeah. These were giant predatory cephalopods, another kind of nautiloid. So nautiloids don't always have a coiled shell, like the gal was saying in the earlier video, which we'll return to. Sometimes they had long, straight shells like this. And they were some of the biggest, most formidable predators of their time. Yeah. Or cephalopods. It's funny that Gordon Freeman here says cephalopods. It's like the British pronunciation. We Americans usually say cephalopods. Yeah. Amazing animals. Oh, and shoot, the buffering is really bad right now. People are just at this moment. I'm seeing those messages in chat. People talking about those mystery predators of nautiloids. Yeah, the lag there's a lot of lag there. But that's okay, we'll get through it. Anyway. Crunch, crunch. Incredible animal. So that is a giant nautiloid from this time. Yeah. There we go. Oop.
In the late Cambrian. The more predator-resistant coiled forms only evolved later, around the time that early jawed fishes and predatory cephalopods arrived on the scene. The heyday of nautiloids seems to have been the Ordovician period, from around 485 to 444 million years ago, when they were at their
And I see, Claire, yeah.
Though they remained
There's a big lag. That's okay. We'll get through it.
And while their diversity has slowly declined since then, around 30 million years ago, Nautilus fossils began to vanish from the fossil record of marine environments across the world. This contraction of their range eventually left them confined to one small corner of the oceans, the only place that they're found today, the deep waters of the tropical Indo-West Pacific. And the exact reason for this sudden change of fortunes has been tricky for scientists to explain. Whatever pushed the nautiluses into their last refuge also still seems to be preventing them from expanding out of it today. But what could be keeping down a group with such a strong record of coping with all kinds of environmental and ecological challenges?
Good question.
Since at least 1979, the leading assumption has been that it was probably some complex interplay of changing ocean circulation and temperature shifts over time. But in 2019, a group of researchers began to wonder if
it wasn't you, Golganek.
Something much simpler. Maybe.
Oh, I don't think it was otters, but probably pinnipeds.
even as simple as a new group of predators that the nautiluses just couldn't deal with. Their approach to investigating this was pretty simple too. Over the next few years, they gathered as much data as they could on the global distribution of nautiluses, as well as their possible predators and other threats throughout the last 66 million years. And when they published their analysis in 2022, they proposed that they had finally found the culprit. Only one key change seemed to match up with the disappearance of nautilus fossils from any location. And that's the arrival of pinnipeds.
Oh, look at that, super cute. That looks like a harbor seal right there. They are super, super cute. I love harbor seals. Well, harbor seals are one of the reasons why I'm going to be a little bit sad to move out of where I live right now. And that's because I have harbor seals like literally just a few blocks away. I'll see them in the canal between Oakland and Alameda. And I'm going to miss occasionally running into them there. It's always magical to just see that little head pop up like this, you know?
From any location. And that's the arrival
Just
of
there's something wonderful about that, you know?
And their relatives.
Yeah.
Now, pinnipeds evolved from terrestrial ancestors in the order Carnivora that became what we call secondarily aquatic. And the details of who exactly these ancestors were and how their return to the water happened are kind of murky. There are still some big gaps left to fill in that story. But we do know that by about 28 million years ago, the earliest recognizable pinniped relatives had begun splashing through the water. Like an Alearctos, for example, a genus that contained several extinct species with clear